Hey everyone, it's Frank here from dioramaworkshop.com. I'm doing this little voiceover for my friends in Europe who gets the video blocked because of the copyright with the music of John Williams not allowed to be played in Europe for some reason. So this is our flashback for Celebration 2. It's hard to believe that it's been 10 years. We had so much fun doing this that we're actually decided to return to Tatooine in 2012 for the Celebration 6 Diorama Workshop. So here you see the minivan that we packed up all of our stuff in. We actually drove to Indianapolis, which was kind of insane when you think of it. It took us like 15 hours, I think, from Montreal. And the customs just thought it was strange that I had so much arts and craft material in the car. They were wondering where we were going with all of that. Here's the displays that I had. It was one of the few conventions, actually, that because I was driving, I was able to bring some of my own earlier dioramas for public display. And since then, when I take the plane, obviously I can't bring all the stuff there as we did. So here was a wall where we had people taking pictures of all of the different dioramas, and this was our workshop space at the very first one. We were in a little room where you had a door to go in and a door to come out, and so people, when they were walking in the hall, unless they stuck their head inside, they really didn't know what was going on inside, and they were actually surprised when they would see the people building, and they said like, "Oh my God, had we known that this was going on, we would have come and build." Lucky for us, because of the popularity of Celebration 2, when we went to Celebration 3, we were able to go into the big sort of well, I guess like a docking bay, sort of like a giant warehouse style room with all of the other things where people were actually able to find us a lot easier. So what you're seeing now is basically the same techniques that we're going to be building for the Celebration 6 Return to Tatooine workshop that we're doing in August of 2012. Here, the people are painting their houses that they built. They took Foamcore bases, covered it with plaster bandages, the same bandages that you use when you break your arm. And then we just used regular latex paint. And we had a drying table over here. And we had some Super Sculpey also for people who wanted to more do little custom figures and stuff like that, as opposed to the buildings. And that was great because we needed set dressings. That one looks like a Klingon almost. But, so here we are. Jamie was designing the docking bay 94 so that we put it in two parts because of the size of the foam core, and because at the time, even with the small Millennium Falcon, it took up a lot of space. And so we actually ran out of plaster bandages and we had to use papier-mâché, which was sadly not sticking to the foam core as much as we were hoping for, so it made kind of like a weird little kind of thing. But so here on the final day, we put 4 pieces of 4x8 plywood together on the tables, and then we covered it with sawdust to make it look like sand, and then we just placed all of the people's creations to create the Mos Eisley streets. And it's pretty amazing to think that one person each created one building, and all we told them was to make either a small building or a large building, and every person created like a completely different design. Obviously, the domes on the roofs give it a unity that you see like in the movies, but we didn't tell any specific detail of how to, you know, build the houses to a certain specification or anything like that. So here we go into the close-ups of the finished scene, and when you put the Hasbro figures inside, it really comes to life. Like when you look really quickly, you wonder like, oh, is that the movie or what is that? It's really cool how obviously as good as the houses look by themselves, it's a ghost town without the figures, right? So all of the toys really do bring the scene to life, and it's too bad that, most of us, I know I don't have a space like this to put a permanent display like this in my own house, but that's the number one complaint of people is, not enough space to do cool scenes like this. But at the conventions, we have the luxury to, at least for a weekend, do the massive builds like this. And so here's some of the droids, the Ronto. That was a cool little alien that someone built. Maybe you'll recognize itself, or that you had built that 10 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years. You know, it's like just flies by. And then there's the cantina. Obviously, all of the cantina aliens had not come out at the time. This year, when we do the cantina, it's going to be much more movie accurate because all the figures have been built since then. And so, yeah, it's really impressive. It's funny to watch this 10 years later, how it still holds up really well. I think we're going into repeat pictures here. I see the stormtrooper checking his watch for the second time. That's what happens when you edit videos, you know, like at 3 in the morning. You make some little mistakes like that, I guess. And yeah, so this was Celebration 2 Diorama Workshop, and I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the other videos that we have at the YouTube channel, and check dioramaworkshop.com for all of the decals and blueprints that were used at the Celebration conventions, so that you can recreate at home what we built at the different areas.
YouTube,
Talk to you soon. Frank out.
The official dioramaworkshop.com video companion.
And make sure to find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Diorama Workshop. See exclusive workshop pictures live as I build my dioramas before they appear anywhere else online.